Hey, flower friends. It is your friend in flowers and maybe not so much flowers, right? Your friend Lisa. And thanks so much for joining me here today, folks. Today is going to be all about seeing the harvest. And our harvest has definitely made a shift. It's like I am feeling a little warm and fuzzy over the whole fall vibe going on around here. And have you ever grown this? Do you know what this is? We're going to learn about this today. I'll talk about it. This is actually hyacinth bean, and it is a spectacular fall crop, whether you use it on tablescapes, in bouquets. I mean, and what is so great about it is you can actually use them out of water, and the stems are super long. They just have a lot of use. So we will talk about that. Um, we'll get to that one in just a few minutes. So, friends, if we have never met before, my name is Lisa Mason Ziegler, and I am the owner of the Gardener's Workshop. And I absolutely just love sharing what we're doing and how we're doing it here on my little city flower farm. So I had been a professional cut flower grower for the past 25 years, and now I'm on this mission to help other people to grow cut flowers, whether it's for profit or for pleasure, whether, if it's for your kitchen table or you're jump starting your business or you're already in business. We are all about helping you, equipping you with the resources, the tools, seeds, and supplies that you actually need, and showing you our harvest is a big part of that, right? So, so it's the 1st of October. And while we still grow many of the same flowers that I've been growing throughout the summer, we succession plant, but oftentimes I change up the colors so that they're more season appropriate, right? And so spring, the colors are, springy, and summer, we love the jewel hot colors. And then we get into fall, we are really loving the fall colors. And that's what I am going to show you guys today. So let's talk about this hyacinth bean, which, hyacinth bean is a vine that grows. And I actually kind of had the nickname for the vine, Jack and the Beanstalk. Jack and the Beanstalk, I named it that because it literally will grow a foot a day. I mean, it's a warm season annual. It does not it's not a good reseeder at all. So it winter kills. So you don't have to worry about being invasive because it's a pretty aggressive grower. You would not put this on a little trellis, right? And so what happens is you plant it in spring and then it grows this vegetation. And then in the middle of the summer, it starts sending up these long spikes and it gets these little flowers. If you can see that little guy right there, kind of looks a little bit like a sweet pea bloom. That little bloom doesn't last but like a day. So you would never cut that stem thinking you're going to use it as a bouquet filler with those little flowers because they fall off pretty immediately. But they go on to grow amazing vegetation on our tunnel. And then it just creates all of these stems of beans. I mean, look at this one. Look how long this guy is. I mean, this would be an amazing addition to a fall bouquet, right? So what I want to also mention is that we have a free online course on how to build that trellis tunnel. If that interests you, you just download our Learn app. You can find it over at the Gardener's Workshop. I'm sorry, at your app store and search Gardener's Workshop. But this hyacinth bean is a spectacular vine to grow. It is a bumblebee magnet. They really, really love it. I mean, literally right now, if you went out there, the hummingbirds and the bumblebees at this time of day are just really all over it. So this is hyacinth bean, which is just a fabulous fall crop. Now, I'm going to just take you through some of our favorite flowers, and these are the ones that, let me gather these up. So as I mentioned, I'm growing many of the same flowers that we've been growing all summer, but we have new successions coming in, the 3rd succession. This is Crystal Beauty. Now, down below this video, there's a ribbon, and you can actually click down there and all the seeds and everything that I'm talking about is available in there. It takes you right over to our website. So this is Crystal Beauty. Look at that color. It's like a blush salmon, right? And I had one here. Oh, I have to show you guys. So one of the struggles that people have with coxcomb is stage to harvest. Look how clean the sides of this bloom is. What we're looking at is these sides right here. Look how nice and clean. This is the way it should look. And let me show you one that's not so clean. See how it's just starting to get it's just got a cast on it. You know what that means? That it is starting to actually develop seed. Look at what the difference is. This is an older bloom. This is the stage you want to cut them in, not once they have started developing seed. This is a fabulous fall filler for your bouquets. If you're selling to florists or commercial customers, they will absolutely love this one. So that is Crystal Beauty. And again, all the seeds are available down in the ribbon. So this is Flamingo Feather, which I absolutely love. I love it. It's kind of got this blush color at the tip. This is a really great regrower. You have to cut it. I mean, literally, we cut those. They're like 48-inch tall stems. We cut them like 4 to 6 inches from the ground. And it just keeps throwing up more and more stems. So this is Flamingo Feather, which is just a great color that'll go with anything. This is fabulous with orange flowers, believe it or not. So Flamingo Feather is always a really great one. And, you know, we grow this flower all year long. This, my friends, is Azuratum. It's Blue Horizon Azuratum, and this is the correct stage to harvest. See how it's not really fuzzy yet? Because they go on. I don't even think there's one here. Here's one. Let me pluck it off and show it to you. So see how that one is starting to get a little fuzzy? It should be doing that in the vase, not in the process of getting to the vase. These ones that are not fuzzy yet, this is the perfect harvest stage. And look, I mean, Azuratum foliage is actually an amazing filler to use. So Azuratum, which, you know, they call it Blue Horizon, but we all know it's purple, right? This is just a great flower to have as early and late. We actually plant Azuratum 3 to 4 times every summer because we just, I mean, and it's like hip high. It's amazing when it's happy in your garden. So that one is, I mean, you can always use a blue purple flower, whether it's fall or in the middle of summer. Now, this is Texas plumes, y'all. This is a Salosia plumosa, and this is a seed we've actually had custom grown for us. Look at the colors and look at that orange. Look at this white yellow. How beautiful. There's shrimp colors. There's different shapes. I mean, oh my gosh, look at this one. I mean, just look how pretty these guys are. And so this is the Texas plume. And I would tell you that if I could only grow one Salosia plume in my garden because of, you know, space, problems, this is the one I would grow. It gives you the most diverse group of colors to choose from. And so it's a mix, and it is over my head tall out in the garden. And we have 3 successions still going out in the garden. The first succession is still pumping out the blooms. So Salosia is always in our top cash crops. And it's not only because they're super productive, but it's because they're super productive, they're long lasting, and they're just really useful for all those reasons. Now, marigolds are not everybody's jam. But I'm here to tell you, marigolds are a long-lasting cut flower. If you have a problem with the fragrance, you need to know the fragrance does not come from the flowers. It comes from the foliage. This particular variety, however, has virtually no fragrance. This is White Swan, and it's not really white, y'all. It's more like buttercream, which in my book, it's even better than white. This is a marigold that we grow as early and throughout the season, right up till frost, because it is just really, really useful, right? And we like to cut it when it's still green in the center like this. And it is just one of those that really has a lot of uses. I mean, in my book, a great cut flower is one that can be cut early, cut late, cut have the longest harvest window, and it's very useful in multiple different ways. And that is definitely one of them. Now look at these. Now these are cocoa marigolds. And again, all of these seeds are available right down below this video in the shop. And so this is the cocoa series. And let me just separate these. I know they kind of look alike, don't they? So this is, you know, the classic orange. Look how big and beautiful these blooms are. So cocoa orange is just pretty spectacular. And y'all want to meet a beneficial insect. He's still crawling around here. So this is a soldier beetle. If you have never seen one, it looks just like a lightning bug, but he's tan. And he is also a pollinator, but he is a he eats soft-bodied insects. So this time of the year, they are frequent flyers on our flowers. So we just have to take them back outside. But look how it's still green in the center. This is the perfect stage to harvest. Marigolds will last up to 3 weeks in the vase, and customers love that. And look at this. Look at the lemon. See how you can still see the green in the center of mine? That is the way they should be harvested. They last longer. See how this one's more bloomed out? This is how they should be cut. And they will go to this in the vase. So this is the cocoa lemon. And let me show you one of my very favorite October bouquets to make is, I call it candy corn. Y'all look at that. It's got the yellow, the orange, the gold, and the white. That's not holding together very good. And it's like the perfect candy corn. I actually gave them out for a couple of years at Halloween when we had so many trick-or-treaters. And at first I wasn't sure what the kids would think. And I'll tell you, they loved them. And I had children coming back for seconds and they would say, my grandma would like to have one. Can I have another little bouquet? I mean, I just made little like 6-inch, 10-inch tall bouquets to give the children. So let's put these back. So these are marigolds. And the secret is, if you got a problem with the fragrance, just strip the foliage, which we have done that many, many times for customers. All right. Try not to kill the flowers, y'all. All right. So this is another just definitely just for fall foliage, at least in my book. This is Mahogany Splendor, and this is grown for a foliage. It may get a little insignificant flower at some point. I've never seen one. Stem length is phenomenal, and these are super productive, y'all. You do not need more than like, I mean, unless you're in high production, nobody needs more than like 5 to 10 feet, 2 rows, and you'll get 40, 50 stems off of one plant. And it kind of looks like a Japanese maple or cannabis, but it's a hibiscus, and it holds up. It has a really long base life. We really love it. And we use hydrator in our buckets, a harvest bucket that's quick dip, 2 tablespoons, and they just never wilt. They just absolutely love it. And, you know, nobody wants this in June, July, or even August, right? This is one that you plant, like we plant on our 3rd succession, so that it's just coming in as we're thinking about all this fall stuff. Now, anybody want to see eucalyptus? One of my favorites for this time of the year. So I went out and cut these right before the show. All right, so, you know, eucalyptus for most of us is a annual. You know, it's from Australia. And if you're in zone 8B or 9, you know, you might be able to winter it over without any additional help. But I'm in 8A, and we are able to winter it over with a lot of additional, you know, covering it and all that kind of stuff. But I will tell you that this year's crop is actually a first-year crop. Eucalyptus is the first seed that I start in January. That's when these were all started this past January. They're planted out in my garden in like mid-April. Takes about 12 to 16 weeks to get a nice size little transplant. This is Polyanthemus, better known as Pollyann is what I call her. And it just has this super cool, different kind of leaf. I mean, this is going in a vase in my house. I mean, this is just so very, very beautiful. And, you know, I didn't strip it in the garden because there's a lot of useful stems on the side. And we'll make use of those tomorrow when we do the big shopping show tomorrow. We show all these crops again. And we have a bouquet studio, and my sis will use them to make bouquets. You should join us sometime. And so Polyanthemus is just really a lot of fun. I really love this one. So that's her. And the seed is available in our shop. And then this is for making bouquets and as filler. This is parvula gum. And it has this little leaf. It's like a, you know, it looks like a little boxwood or something. But this is really easy to use in bouquets. Unlike the Polyanthemus, which is a little bit more difficult to use. This, you know, it'd be easy to just tuck this in and use it on the side. And I like it because it's almost like an evergreen color. It's deeper, more green, while the other eucalyptuses are more kind of silvery green. So parvula gum is just a real favorite. And then we have the standard, most recognized. This is Silver Dollar. And this is another one that's just super long lasting, really fun to use. And people, I'm telling you, just love them. And let me tell you what we do with our eucalyptus. So I started in January. I planted out in my garden in mid-April. And I will tell you that if you are in a zone where you can winter it over, like we do, I cannot tell you that the size of the second year eucalyptuses, I mean, you get 6 times more harvest off of it. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's worth figuring it out. If you're in 8 and 9, you definitely need to winter over your eucalyptus if you can, because it's just absolutely enormous. But what we do is, so even though I plant them in January, even if I have last year's and I have it's coming ready in the middle of summer, we technically just don't even start cutting our eucalyptus until September 1st. That was always kind of a buzz with our customers. It's like, nope, we won't have eucalyptus till September 1st. Kind of gave them something to look forward to. But you know what else it did? That meant nobody had to stand out in the field and make decisions about whether the tips were developed enough so they wouldn't shrivel, right? So for us, that just really worked out. So that's a tip on how we always harvested it without having, you know, shriveled tips for undeveloped ends, because by September, they're all in pretty dadgum good shape. Now, you know, I already showed you the Texas plumes, but look at these guys. Well, let's just pick all these up. So these plumes, it's another Salosia plumosa. This is called Shimmer. And this is some really soft colors. It's got this like peachy, kind of salmon-y color, I guess, more so, and yellowish. And, you know, if you sell to event people that are doing weddings or to florists, they'd really be all about. They're not always so into the really bold colors. That is the bouquet making mix for sure. You know, I learned many, many years ago that the soft, scrumptious colors, which is what people tend to want for weddings, is not what people at farmers markets or supermarket bouquet people are looking for. They're looking for bold and bright, which is Texas. If you're selling to people doing weddings and stuff, Shimmer is definitely the mix that would work for you. It's a typical plumosa. It grows pretty tall. It's super branchy, and you'll have a bunch of them. Now, our secret weapon in our bouquets, especially at the markets, our private market here on the farm that we had for over 25 years, is people want fragrance in their bouquets, and few flowers really provide long-term fragrance. So we have curated like several basils that we absolutely love to use. This is cardinal basil, which has the biggest leaf of any basil that we found that really holds up in bouquets. And it in fact gets this big old fat flower, which none of these have it. This is the regrowth from a crop that we literally had cut to the ground harvesting it. And this is all the regrowth. But this is a great filler. This is cardinal basil. We also have lemon and cinnamon. Lemon is hands down customer favorite. So that's how we actually provide fragrance, because if you haven't noticed it, if you're selling at farmers markets or wherever, watch people. They pick up something and they bring it straight up to their snoot and they're looking for a good smell. And when they smell lemons from the lemon basil, it just pushes them over the edge. I mean, it literally just takes them out and they have to buy it. I'm not kidding you. All right, so if you've been around me for more than a minute, you know that I am just really a huge sunflower grower. I mean, we prove that weekly sunflowers can be enormous cash crops. In fact, so let's see, how long ago was it? 2014 is when I bought my tractor. So that means that the year 2014 and 15, we bought a tractor, which allowed me to truly do weekly sunflowers. One season of sunflowers, which were 1,280 stems a week, is what we planted, harvested, and cut and sold. It paid for a 34,000 John Deere tractor and implements in one season, just the sunflowers. Sunflowers are big. People underestimate their power, and it's how we grow them. It's the size that we grow them, and the quality is set us apart. Our sunflowers cost twice as much as what they got from the wholesaler, but they bought our sunflowers. I had to train them, but they did it. So I want to show you a very interesting phenomenon. If you can see over my shoulder there, see that image back here? That is from the cover of my book, The Cut Flower Handbook. And those are all, I typically grow pro-cut sunflowers. Those are all pro-cuts. They have like 13 different colors. They're quick from seed to harvest, 50 to 60 days. They have diverse flowers. They're pollenless, which means they're great cut flowers. And they do produce nectar, but friends, we're not growing these sunflowers for pollinators, but it still produces nectar. Pollination or pollen in a flower kills its vase life, not to mention it drops stuff all over people's tabletops. So that's why I grow pro-cuts, right? So pro-cuts are day length neutral. That means that they will grow and set bud even when the days are short. So that means that I practice a thing called early bird suns. We have sunflowers before Mother's Day. Did I mention I grow everything outside in the field? And so the early days of spring and fall, like we're in right now, where the days are getting shorter fast, they will still set bud, but they will typically be shorter in the garden. Instead of being the eye height, they're now hip height or maybe even a little shorter, and the blooms get smaller. We deliberately grow our sunflowers to have a 3 to 4 inch bloom. They are like, that's the jam, y'all. That is what sets us apart. Look, the next time, if you're not growing sunflowers and you're a farmer, the next time you go to the supermarket or you go into a florist shop, look at the sunflowers they're getting shipped in. They're these big heads with stems that big around. They're just basically not useful. And that's why many people are resistant to use sunflowers, because they have not been introduced to the kind of sunflowers that local farmers grow. So that's what we get all summer. Well, as the days get shorter, y'all, look what they start doing. Look how small they are. And do not be alarmed by this, because I will tell you, our commercial customers looked forward to when the mini sunflowers were going to start coming in. Little did they know, it is the same exact variety they've been buying all summer that was this big. And so this is the pro-cut mix, which is what's up on the wall there. That has all, we mix it in house. They don't make a mix. Pro-cut people don't. We mix it in house, equal amounts of all the colors. So you get a nice show. There's the whites, the bicolors, there's all the different, there's peach, or that's lemon. Here's peach. And so these small mini sunflowers. And I'll tell you, my very first time ever experiencing this. So, I sold to 23 florists for many, many years. Two of my florists had huge standing orders every week, which meant I just took them $1,000 worth of flowers. That's was what their order was, right? And so part of their order was, 10 to 20 bunches of sunflowers. So all season they're getting these kind of bigger sunflowers, right? Then this happens. It happens like overnight. It's like all of a sudden it's like, whoa, last week's weren't this small. It just happens. Well, when I harvested them, I was very deeply concerned. What am I going to do? I'm not going to charge less. I don't ever charge less. I will up the number of stems that I put a bunch to make it the same value of them looking at the bunch. So if it's normally a 10 stem bunch, when they go to this size, I might put 15 stems in there, right? But it's the same price. So I called him my stomachache customer. He was the guy, he bought so much from me, but sometimes he would just be in a bad mood and just wouldn't be nice, but he was worth the pain in my butt because he's bought so much from me. Well, I thought I was worried about taking these to him. And I go in to deliver and drop off the flowers and he wasn't there, which really made me nervous. It's like, oh crap, he's not there. So he could look at him and say, take them. I don't want them, So I did all my deliveries, dropped his off and went on about my business. This was before cell phones, y'all, believe it or not. Before I could even get back here to the farm, he had already called and left a message. But guess what the message was? Lisa, what the heck is this flower? Do you have more of these? We would love to have like 30 bunches of, what are they? Are they daisies? He didn't even recognize them as sunflowers, y'all, but they last like sunflowers do. I mean, it's really kind of a really cool niche market. So sunflowers, for me, because we grow early bird and then throughout the season, what I focus on is what colors am I starting each week. So like these bicolors, I would never grow these in spring or summer. We save them for the fall. These whites, typically I only have the whites early in spring. Spring, I focus on peach, white, and the lemons and the gold light. Those are they go with cool flowers. They go with all the spring stuff. Then we move into summer. You get the jewel stuff, the classic, see up there, like right there, that's the classic sunflower, dark center, orange petals. And so that's summer. And then when we move into fall, we start doing more of these bicolors. And there's not a chocolate one. We call it chocolate, but it's technically really red. There's another different kind of bicolor right there. That's a different color. But you just change it up, So this is the Pro Cut Mix. All of these colors are available separately. And so you can find all the colors on our website, but this is the go-to, friends. I'm telling you, you can have a booth full of these. And this is the stage to harvest right here, by the way. And then you may have already heard me at some point talk about these, but I'm going to show you again. These, my friends, are pumpkin on a stick. And so this is an ornamental eggplant and high value crop, y'all. This is, fully developed. Like, look at that. They're like little baby pumpkins, right? But I love using them when they're green earlier in the season. See how? So these developed later. That little bloom comes and then they develop. Do you know how much value there is in this kind of crop, y'all? It's pretty dadgum amazing. So it's an eggplant, and we don't plant these for early season. They're pretty quick. I think they're like 70 days from seed to this. So you're not planting these out of the gate in spring like you rush to get your first tomatoes in. But this is an incredibly useful crop. All right, now I have to show you the little bunches. Y'all, I'm being attacked back here. I want to show you the little bunches that we make this time of the year to prepare us for our wreath making, which is coming up here in just the next couple of weeks. I'll start as soon as seed starting slows down for cool flowers. Then I start making bunches of specific flowers, and I want to show you what those are. So I'll turn this down, and I'm going to roll it by, but I'll actually pick up and show them a little bit closer. Look how pretty these are. These are all little different Gomphrena bunches to make wreaths out of. And then look at this one. This is our rooster peppers, which are just such an amazing crop. And I'll tell you more about that here in a minute. But we have just hundreds of all these little bunches just laying around here on the farm right now in different areas, getting them actually ready to be used to make wreaths. So we don't sell wreaths. Actually, I'm gifting a bunch of wreaths this year. So I want to show you each one of these Gomphrena bunches. And where's the other one? Pink. All right. So, first off, I'm not crafty at all. However, I have learned that I can use little skinny grapevine wreaths along with an item we call, what did I do with that? I just had it last night. It's called Flexi Tie. You can find this on our website. This comes from England. It is a stretchy cord, rubbery, but it holds a knot, y'all. It's like the most fantastic product. There's like it's like $23, but this is like 200 feet in here. You just pull it out here. Anyway, I use this, a grapevine wreath, and make these little bunches and literally just wrap them on. They're so simple and easy, and people absolutely love them. If I was doing a farmer's market, no question, I would be making a boatload of these for like October sales, October and November. So the thing about drying Gomphrena, these were just harvested today. So they're fresh. See how that's drooping? You wouldn't want it to dry like that. You want to dry it either hanging up so that they dry being, they'll look in the right way, or you can lay them down and dry them. And so this is my favorite color. This is purple red. The Audra series of Gomphrena is the easiest to harvest. Its growth habit is phenomenally different than many of the others. Totally love it. This is one of hers. It's purple red is what they call it, but it's really just purple. And totally love that. And then look at this one. This is a favorite. This is bicolor rose. And see how we've just made little bunches. Literally, they're sitting out in the field right now on stools. Dream world, right? Not cutting the whole plant and stripping all that stuff off, just snipping the top 5 to 6 inches and rubber banding them and throwing them in a little box, bringing them in here and then placing them so they dry properly. So that is the bicolor. This is pink. This is actually kind of a purpley color, if you ask me, but it's really fun. And here's the most useful color, white. They have, if you can see right in the center, they're still got a green haze. That's the perfect stage to harvest, when they still can see that green haze. And these actually dry, they dry and hold their color, Gomphrena does. And the white actually turns, which I find it to be a very popular color. It turns into this kind of off-white tan. I mean, this is a hot color right now in the decorating world, right? And to make a wreath, I'm making one actually to hang in my house out of the white, and I'm hoping it's going to turn this color. So these are like over a year. This is last year's crop. So that's the Gomphrena, and I'll tell you what else I'm doing this year. So I'm gifting. I'm not craft maker, y'all, but I have a private flower farmer club, and we get together every Wednesday afternoon for what we call the sowing circle, where we sow seeds together, virtually, of course. Well, when the seeds starting season slows down, this is what I do. And so this year, between now and Christmas, I'm making a bunch of Christmas gifts because all my family has asked for them. And so I'm making little Gomphrena flower crowns. We have 3 new little girls in our family. They're like 2 to 4 years old. So that's what these will be used for. And then look at this. These are the rooster peppers. Rooster peppers, let me show you the stems. If I can reach. So rooster peppers, if you have not grown these yet, you absolutely have to. So this is what they look like when they come out of the field. Look how tall they are, y'all. And this is a seed we had grown. We saved it from a flower farmer. Can't Kathy Jones, my mind went blank. Kathy Jones from Periwinkle Flower Farm in North Carolina saved this seed from being lost. It is a rooster pepper. It is a chili pepper. You can eat them, but it is a perfect cut flower. Notice how all the fruit is on the top of the stem. And because look how easy it is to just pull the foliage off, which is what you do when you use it for a cut flower. You want to expose the fruit, but you also, this foliage doesn't hold up. How quick and easy was that? That's the secret to these rooster peppers. That's what is so special about them. So we use these, they branch. We start them in the spring. We pinch them. They just produce and produce. We use them all summer in bouquets and sell them commercially. We would sell them to supermarkets and to florists as green. There's a green one. It's a cool color green. I mean, people loved it in their bouquets. And then as the season moves on and they start to color up, we still use them in bouquets. But they're doing the very same thing out there with roosters as they are with Gomphrena. They're sitting out there cutting these short little bunches and rubber banding them. And this is what they dry to. So these were only cut like yesterday, right? This is what they'll dry to. It is an amazing, amazing wreath making stuff. And as Kathy Jones, who is, she was a flower farmer for like 30 or 40 years. She will tell you that she could sell every pepper wreath that she made at the farmer's market. I mean, she said she could sold hundreds. And I mean, what a way to go out of the season. And if you figure out a really thrifty, streamlined way to get your little bunches and what you're going to put it on to make it quick and easy, because wreath making can be super labor intensive. The way that we do it, wrapping it on a really skinny grapevine wreath, just works out really well. And it's pretty from the back. And I'm not gifted at doing that at all, y'all. So that is the rooster pepper, and the seed is available. We had that grown. And that, just like Texas, it has limited quantities because we do that. And then I wanted to tell you about something else, of course, just to let you know, my book, The Cut Flower Handbook, has all this information in it, y'all, on how to grow everything, how to set up a cutting garden to be low maintenance, what to grow, when to cut it, how to cut it, what stage to cut it we have 66 different flowers in the book. And then it comes with a bonus PDF download of the flowers that wouldn't fit in the book, 5 more cool season and 1 more warm. So you actually get 71 flowers, and would love to sign one of those for you. But I want to just also share that today we launched what I consider to be the one tool that has made me into the succession flower farmer that I am. And it's now available. I'll show it to you. It's just opened on pre-sale. And if you have read any of my books or taken any of my courses, I have talked about and shown the calendar that actually runs my farm. We're now producing it. This is the cover to it. It is 20 inches by 30 inches, y'all. And that makes it incredibly useful for seed starting and planting window planning. And it comes with my guide for cut flower seed starting and when to plant. And then everything else you do for a cutting garden, you can just get as detailed as you want. But it's in the ribbon. You pre-order now. It won't ship until the end of November. And so we're now selling the first printing, which will ship the end of November. All pre-sale purchases will be invited to a live workshop where I'm going to take you through. This kind of shows you. This is the step-by-step instructions of how you find the 8 different succession plantings, if they fit for you, based on your frost dates and your winter low temperature. And I will take you through in the workshop through the actual finding your planting window dates. And then that leads you back to your seed starting dates. I'm telling you, y'all, I don't remember how and when to plant all this stuff. It's like I live off of this big calendar, and I have talked about that for a decade and a half. And it will change you. We never dreamed that we'd be able to produce this, and we're so thrilled. It's $39.95, and it will change your gardening world. So head over. Well, actually, it's in the ribbon below. Pre-order. Get on the list so you're in on the first printing, and that means that you'll get the first shipping as early as possible. And so, friends, let me put this back. I hope that your fall harvest is going as well as ours is here. And so we will meet you here again. And just reminder that, we do a live gardening show inside our big shopping app twice a week. And the big show happens on Friday with the big harvest. And that'll be tomorrow at 12 noon inside the shop app. We have the bouquet studio where my sis puts together a bouquet and we demonstrate stuff. And it's just really a lot of fun. So friends, thank you so much for joining me here today. And I hope to see you on the pre-order list so you can get in on that workshop and be amongst the first to get our calendar when it starts shipping in late November. And it's just great to have fall happening, right? I actually saw leaves fall today, and it's a little cool. So things are going really well. And friends, until we meet again, ciao.